You just got paid, and within 72 hours, you have no idea where $847 went. Not because you blew it, not because you weren't careful, because the numbers just don't work the way they used to. You're doing the 9 to 5. You're showing up every single day. You've got the paycheck hitting on schedule, the direct deposit, the whole thing. And somehow, you're still doing math in the grocery store, still checking your account before you swipe, still wondering why making it feels exactly like drowning in slow motion. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. The plan is broken. Not you, the plan. The one that said go to school, get a job, rent a place, save a little, and eventually it adds up. That map? It was drawn for someone living in a different decade, in a different economy, with a different version of rent. The reason you're stuck isn't because you're lazy. It's because you've been following a map that was drawn for someone else. And the worst part is, you followed it correctly. You did everything the map said. The map just lied. Right now, in 2026, the average rent in a mid-sized American city is crossing numbers that used to belong to mortgages, and the hamster wheel isn't speeding up randomly. There's a reason it's moving faster than your paycheck ever could. And that reason, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That reason isn't some big, dramatic event. It's not a crash, not a crisis, not a moment you'll be able to point to later. It's quieter than that. It's the low-level hum of anxiety that never fully turns off, sitting in the background of every swipe, every transfer, every time you do the math in your head at checkout. You pack the lunch, you skip the coffee, you check the bank app before you buy anything that isn't absolutely necessary. And those choices feel like discipline. They feel like you're doing it right. But 10 years of doing it right, 10 years of the treadmill, and you're still in the same zip code of broke. Not dramatically broke, invisibly broke. The kind where you look fine from the outside. It's not that you're failing, it's that the game is rigged against your time. Every hour you trade for a paycheck, the rent number climbs a little higher without you even noticing. The treadmill doesn't announce when it speeds up, it just gets harder to keep up. Automatic, invisible, draining. That weight in your chest every Sunday night, that's not stress about Monday. That's your body doing math your brain won't let you do consciously. The blur of Mondays turning into Fridays, turning into years, that's the trap running exactly as designed. This isn't a glitch, it's a feature. Some people figure this out and immediately try to earn more, work harder, pick up the side hustle. And for a minute, it feels like traction. But here's where it gets weird. More income doesn't fix a rigged baseline. It just means you're draining faster on a slightly bigger tank. The answer isn't earning more inside the system. And that half thought I just left hanging, that's exactly where we need to go next. Here's the flip nobody prepares you for. Everything you were told about money, rent, and getting ahead, it wasn't wrong because the people who told you were bad people. It was wrong because the script they handed you was written for a world that no longer exists. And they were just actors too, reading the same lines, believing the same map. We've been trained to treat the symptoms. Nobody told us to look at the disease. Paycheck feels short, get a second job. Rent went up, find roommates, cut subscriptions, make coffee at home. That's symptom management. That's duct tape on a crack in a dam. The pattern underneath keeps running, hidden in plain sight, while we stay busy chasing the symptoms. Here's what the old map said. Rent is roughly 30% of your income. That's the rule. That's what school, parents, every financial article ever written, all of them anchored to that number, 30%. Budget around it, build from there. Except that number was born in 1981, when median rent in America was $315 a month. Stay with me here because this changes everything. The new truth is that the 30% rule is now a ghost. It haunts personal finance advice like a rule that still applies. But in 2026, median rent in major metros has crossed $2,800. Some mid-tier cities, places nobody called expensive 5 years ago, are sitting at $2,200, $2,400, $2,600. To make the 30% rule work at $2,800 rent, you need to be clearing $9,300 a month after taxes. That's $112,000 a year in gross income, just to be financially healthy by the old MAP's definition. And here's the part that gets strange. Median household income in America right now just crossed $80,000, which means the average American household is structurally, mathematically, unable to hit the 30% benchmark anymore. This isn't a personal failure. This is the pattern operating exactly as it was built to operate. Think of it like a subscription model, not one you chose, one you were enrolled in at birth. The terms updated silently every few years. Rent went up, wages crept, the gap widened. But the interface looked the same. Work, paycheck, rent, repeat. Nobody sent a notification that the pricing had changed. You just kept paying, and the monthly cost kept climbing without you even noticing. Sound familiar? This is where it stops being theory. The lens most people use to evaluate their financial health, am I saving a little? Am I paying bills on time? Am I not going into debt? That lens was designed for a different cost structure. What nobody tells you is that being fine by those old metrics now means you're actually falling behind in real terms. You're not treading water, you're losing ground at a slow enough pace that it feels like stillness. Here's the flip again, but deeper this time. Remember that map from segment 1, the one drawn for someone else? It's not just outdated, it's the disease itself. Because as long as you're trying to optimize inside a broken framework, every smart decision you make is just rearranging furniture in a house that's structurally compromised. The people who built this system aren't sitting in a room cackling. That's not how it works. It's more invisible than that. It's 1,000 small policy decisions, 1,000 small market forces compounding quietly over 30 years, hidden in plain sight. And the result is a rental market in 2026 where $3,000 isn't luxury, it's just Tuesday. And there's one more layer underneath this that most people never reach. It's not just about rent. Rent is the symptom that makes the disease visible. What's actually happening, the mechanism underneath, is something that touches every single financial decision you make without you realizing it. But understanding the trap is only half the battle, because once you see how deep this actually goes, that's when things get interesting. Let's actually look at how this works, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Most people think the rental crisis is a housing supply problem or a greedy landlord problem. And sure, both of those are real, but they're surface level. The engine underneath is something quieter, more automated, more permanent. Think of your financial life as a bucket. Every paycheck, water pours in, and the moment it hits the bucket, before you touch a single drop, holes start draining it. Rent, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, minimum payments. You didn't drill those holes. They were there when you arrived. And here's the kicker. The holes get wider every year, automatically, whether your income grows or not. That's the engine. Not a villain, not a conspiracy, just an automated system of recurring costs that expands at a rate your paycheck was never designed to match. Rent, specifically, operates like a subscription you can't cancel. It auto-renews, and the pricing updates on their schedule, not yours. In the last 4 years, average rent in America has climbed over 30%. Average wages over the same period, just under 20%. The gap isn't closing. It's the lever that keeps the whole system tilted. But notice what's missing here. Nobody mailed you a letter saying, hey, the cost of existing just went up 10% again, adjust accordingly. It just happened, quietly, hidden in plain sight inside a lease renewal notice with 2 weeks to respond. And the psychological response to that notice, most people feel a flash of anger, then immediately start calculating how to make it work. That calculation, that's the catch. Because the moment you start making it work, you've accepted the new baseline. Let's make this physical. You just got a $5,000 bonus at work. The dopamine hit is real. That's not nothing. That's your brain registering progress, momentum, proof that the grind is paying off. You feel it in your chest, a little lighter, a little ahead. This is exactly where 99% of people get stuck. Because here's what actually happens to that $5,000 inside the engine. Federal and state taxes pull roughly 28 to 35% off the top, depending on your bracket. So now it's $3,250. Your rent just renewed at $200 more per month. That's $2,400 a year. Your bonus just absorbed most of that before you spent a single dollar of it. Car insurance went up $40 a month. Groceries are running $60 more than last year. That's another $1,200 annually. Quietly, automated, hidden in plain sight inside normal-looking bills. And here's the kicker, again, because it hits twice. You didn't spend that bonus. The system did, on your behalf, without your permission. The feeling of progress was real. The progress itself was an illusion. You've been trained to see this as normal. It isn't. This is how they get you. Not through one big moment, but through 1,000 small automated adjustments that compound in one direction. Remember that treadmill from segment 2, the one that speeds up without announcing itself? This is the mechanism. This is what's actually spinning it faster. It's not that you're running slower, the brake is tightening, quietly, automatically every time costs reset and your income doesn't match the pace. The hamster wheel has a hidden brake, and the harder you run, the more the engine needs to absorb. Now, zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about rent. Rent is just the lever that's most visible right now, the one that finally got loud enough that people are starting to feel it consciously. But the gap between what things cost and what paychecks deliver exists across every single category of American life in 2026. Healthcare, childcare, transportation, food. Every bucket, every hole, all widening on the same schedule. And here's what makes this specific moment, 2026, different from any other point in the last 30 years. We've crossed a threshold where the traditional financial advice architecture, budget better, save more, spend less, mathematically cannot close the gap for the median American household anymore. The old tools don't reach the new problem. You've been trained to see this as a personal discipline issue. It's a structural one. And what this sets up in the next part is the piece most people never reach. Let's stop talking about people for a second. Let's talk about you, specifically. The default version of you that shows up on a Tuesday. The one who checks the account balance with one eye half closed because you don't want the full picture. The one who knows something is off, has known for a while, but keeps running the same week on repeat because changing the pattern feels harder than enduring it. That default version of you wasn't chosen, it was installed. Preloaded by a system that profits from your predictability. The internal narrative running in the background, work hard, spend carefully, hope the math improves. That's not your philosophy. That's inherited code. And it's been running your financial life without you ever sitting down to actually review it. You've been running a version of yourself that was preloaded by a system that profits from your predictability. Here's what that operating system actually looks like in real time. You're standing in a store. There's a sale. 40% off something you've been vaguely wanting for months. The notification hit your phone. The number looked reasonable. Your brain did the math in about 3 seconds. And here's the default response. It's on sale. I've been wanting it. I work hard. I deserve this. That sequence, that exact sequence, is the wheel spinning, quietly, automatically. The old code runs like this. See paycheck, feel relief, calculate what's available, spend toward comfort. A worker looks at a paycheck and asks, what can I buy? An owner looks at the same paycheck and asks, what can I build? Same number on the screen, completely different architecture underneath. And here's the part that matters. It's not about being cheap, it's about the lens you're looking through. That $800 purchase on sale? Run it through a different OS for 10 seconds. At $25 an hour, $800 is 32 hours of your life, 4 full workdays. Not money, time. Finite, non-renewable hours that you traded your body and attention for. Now ask the question again, is this thing worth 4 days of your life? That's not overthinking, that's the shift. That's the exact moment the new code starts running. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. When you start running this new operating system, the people around you won't always get it. You'll pass on something, someone will call you cheap. You'll talk about trajectory instead of tonight's plans. Someone will call you intense. That social friction is real. It's one of the quietest costs of the shift, and nobody warns you about it. But here's what's on the other side of that friction. It's not some dramatic transformation. It's not a highlight reel moment. It's something quieter than that, and more durable. It's the specific feeling of standing in a situation that used to make you anxious and realizing the anxiety is gone. Not because the situation changed, because your internal narrative changed, because you're finally holding the wheel instead of just riding it. Most people spend their entire lives optimizing the default, trying to be a better, more disciplined version of a pre-installed identity. They budget harder inside the architecture that was built to drain them. They run faster on the wheel and call it progress. The shift isn't about running faster. It's about asking who built the wheel and why. Here's the false floor moment, and I want you to feel it for a second. You understand the trap now. You've seen the engine. You've felt the gap. You know the 30% rule is a ghost. You know the bonus illusion. You know the lease renewal is a system resetting its pricing on you. That understanding is real, and it's more than 90% of people ever get. It feels like arriving somewhere. But there's still one question left, and it's the only one that actually matters after everything we've just walked through. Knowing the system is broken, knowing the old map is wrong, knowing your default was pre-installed, what do you actually do with that? Not in theory, not eventually, right now, in 2026, with the rent number you're already staring at. You understand the trap, you've seen the system, but there's still one question left, and it's the only one that actually matters. Everything we've walked through comes down to a single, quiet moment. Not a plan, not a pivot, not a dramatic decision made at 2 a.m. Just one question you can't unknow once you've heard it. Are you an owner of your time, or are you just operating inside someone else's plan? The exit doesn't start with quitting anything. It starts with refusing to be predictable to the script. It starts with recognizing the trap not as a personal failure, but as an architecture you were handed, and deciding your trajectory no longer runs on someone else's schedule. That decision is quiet. It doesn't announce itself, but the weight of it is real. Because here's what the slow-motion version of staying asleep actually costs. Not a crisis, not a collapse, just 10 years from now, waking up and recognizing the exact moment you saw it clearly and chose the familiar discomfort over the unfamiliar exit. That moment exists in the future already, finite, waiting. What happens next is the only variable still open. 2 paths, no drama. 1, the awareness becomes a quiet, steady form of control. Small decisions compounding in a new direction, the wheel finally slowing. 2, the script runs. Almost free, almost there, almost ready, almost becomes alive. The question isn't whether you see it now. The question is what you do with the next 24 hours before the system resets.